love handles. Just the term itself conjures images of extra bulk, soft appearances, and frankly, a whole lot of frustration. These are those persistent deposits of fat found right above your hips, often spilling over the waistband of your pants, and unfortunately, they're notoriously difficult to get rid of for many people. It's a common complaint, and for men especially, this stubborn area can feel like a relentless problem. Why? Because it's often one of the first spots that we tend to pack on the fat when we gain weight, while also being one of the absolute last spots for our bodies to willingly release it. It's a cruel trick of genetics and biology that often leaves us feeling defeated. Let me tell you, one of the worst, most counterproductive things you can do if you're serious about burning the stubborn fat is to fall into the trap of a crash diet. You know the ones. They promise rapid results, but demand heavy, unsustainable restriction. The problem with these extreme approaches is that they typically lead to what's known as yo-yo dieting. You go hard for a short period, lose some weight, but then, within a relatively short time frame, your willpower crumbles, you give up, and inevitably, you regain all the weight you lost, and often, even more. This cyclical pattern usually leads to your love handle problem only getting worse over time, as your body becomes more efficient at storing fat after each period of deprivation. So instead of chasing quick fixes that lead to long-term frustration, I want to give you guys 11 simple, actionable strategies that you can start implementing today. These aren't magic pills or extreme deprivations. These are scientifically sound approaches designed to help you naturally reduce the size of your love handles permanently, without feeling like you're starving yourself or living on a diet of air. Let's dive in. Before we dive into these powerful strategies, if you're serious about transforming your body with science-backed advice, do me a quick favor. Take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And while you're at it, drop a quick comment below right now, letting me know what your biggest struggle is when it comes to losing stubborn fat. Your support helps me create more videos just like this one, packed with real, actionable steps to help you achieve your fitness goals. Okay, ready? Let's get into the first strategy. 1. Harnessing the thermic effect of food. The very first thing that you'll definitely want to do to make fat loss way easier is to eat a diet full of foods that have a high thermic effect. I think we all know that cutting calories by eating less can feel incredibly difficult, like a constant battle against hunger. But burning more calories just by prioritizing certain types of foods, it's much easier and more enjoyable, and it can really contribute quite a bit to your total daily caloric deficit, leading to more significant fat loss without having to put a whole ton of conscious effort into reducing portion sizes. It's like getting a metabolism boost with every bite. So, what exactly is the thermic effect of food? Essentially, it's the energy that your body expends to break down, digest, absorb, and assimilate the nutrients from the food that you eat. To put it simply, some foods cost your body more calories to process than others, which is a very good thing for fat loss in general. Let's look at the numbers. Carbohydrates and fats are relatively cheap to digest. They will only require about 5 to 15% of the calories you take in to break down and utilize those macronutrients. However, protein is a completely different story. Protein requires a substantial 20 to 35% of the calories you take in just to digest and process it. This is a significant metabolic advantage. This is precisely why you want to make sure that you're eating at least 0.73 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight every single day. Not only is protein incredibly satiating, helping you feel fuller for longer and curbing cravings, and fantastic for helping you build and maintain muscle mass, but it also provides a lot less net calories compared to other macronutrients due to its high thermic effect. It's a win-win-win for fat loss. Now, besides eating enough protein, focus on whole, natural, single-ingredient foods. These tend to have a higher thermic effect than their highly processed, refined counterparts. This is especially true with vegetables, which are so fibrous and nutrient-dense that they almost cost as many calories to digest as the amount of calories that they actually provide. 2. Drastically reduce your sugar intake, on the other hand. Something like sugar has one of the lowest thermic effects, meaning your body barely expends any energy to process it. Which brings us to our second critically important tip: drastically reduce your sugar intake. This isn't just about empty calories. Sugar is a direct saboteur of your fat loss efforts, particularly around your midsection. Not only is sugar very high in calories for the small volume that it'll fill up in your stomach, meaning you can consume a lot of calories very quickly without feeling full, but eating too much sugar is also specifically linked to central obesity. This means your body is preferentially storing more fat specifically around your stomach and, you guessed it, your love handle area. This isn't just cosmetic. This type of visceral fat is metabolically active and can contribute to serious health issues. Another major problem with a diet that's consistently high in sugar is that it increases circulating insulin levels while decreasing insulin sensitivity over time. This creates an environment where your body is more prone to storing fat and makes it much harder to burn previously stored fat for energy. On top of that, eating too much sugar regularly will stimulate your brain's reward centers in a way that causes you to crave more sugar. It's a vicious cycle. It also desensitizes your palate, so when you eat naturally sweet-tasting fruits, they simply do, and compared to the intense stimulation you get from all the added sugar and high-fructose corn syrup hidden in so many processed foods in your diet. So to summarize, not only is sugar very calorie-dense and easy to overconsume, but it also makes you crave more of it, negatively impacts your fat storage hormones, and makes it harder to find enjoyment from the healthy, natural food sources that would actually help you lose the love handles. To reduce sugar in your diet, you want to do the obvious things like eliminate sodas, fruit juices, and other sweetened beverages, and stick to water instead. But you'll also want to eliminate sugar from the not-so-obvious sources. Many processed foods contain hidden added sugars, artificial ingredients, flavor enhancers, and high-fructose corn syrup. So, if you buy anything processed that's in a box or has a really long shelf life, make sure you always check the nutrition label and the ingredients list to limit your daily intake of added sugar. This takes awareness, but it's incredibly impactful. 3. Cut out refined carbs now. Besides sugar, you'll also want to be very mindful of, and ideally, cut out refined carbohydrates. Let me be clear, I'm not one to eliminate carbs completely. In fact, many of my clients have been very successful, even eating a higher carb diet for fat loss, especially those who are highly active. Carbs aren't inherently bad. However, refined carbs are a different story. These are very quickly converted to sugar in your bloodstream right after you eat them. When grains are refined, they're stripped of all their bran, fiber, and most of their beneficial nutrients. Not only does this significantly reduce the thermic effect of these carbs, meaning your body expends less energy processing them, but it also dramatically speeds up the rate of digestion. So it's not long after eating them before your blood sugar spikes. It crashes and you're hungry once again, leading to potential overeating. On top of that, many refined carbohydrates also have additional hidden added sugar, compounding the problem we just discussed. A couple common examples include white bread, most packaged snack cakes, pastries, white flour-based sweets, and most breakfast cereals. It's not that you can never eat these foods again. Life is about balance. But you want to do your absolute best to limit them in your diet and stick mostly to whole, natural sources of carbohydrates. Think of nutrient-dense options like sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, oats, and barley. These provide sustained energy, fiber, and micronutrients without the rapid blood sugar spikes and subsequent crashes that leave you craving more. This small shift makes a huge difference in appetite control and fat loss. For eat enough soluble fiber next, I want to make sure that you re-eating enough soluble fiber because these foods are absolute champions at helping you feel full and satisfied for longer periods. Foods that help you stay full naturally reduce your overall calorie intake without having to feel like you're constantly starving yourself. This is a game changer for adherence and sustainability. So what are some examples of foods high in soluble fiber? Think about powerhouses like Brussels sprouts, beans, broccoli, avocados, and some whole grains like barley and oats. When soluble fiber enters your digestive system, it dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance. This slows down the digestion and absorption of nutrients, leading to a more gradual rise in blood sugar and, crucially, a prolonged feeling of fullness. Eating more of these high-fiber foods has been shown to lead to significant fat loss in many studies. In fact, one particularly compelling study showed that by simply increasing the amount of soluble fiber that participants ate by just 10 grams per day over the course of 5 years, it led on average to a 3.7% reduction of their visceral fat. Visceral fat, remember, is the deep, dangerous fat stored around their midsection, including the love handle area. That's a huge return for a simple dietary adjustment. So, load up on your veggies and fiber-rich whole foods. 5. Include more healthy sources of fat now. To further reduce hunger, optimize your hormones, and make your diet genuinely enjoyable, you'll also want to include more healthy sources of fat in your diet. This might sound counterintuitive to some, especially with the old fat makes you fat mentality, but it's a critical component of a successful fat loss plan. Why is fat important? Firstly, healthy fats significantly slow down the digestion process, helping you stay full for much longer after meals. This satiety factor is massive for preventing cravings and unnecessary snacking. The other often overlooked thing about healthy fat is that it simply tastes good. Healthy fats add richness, flavor, and texture to your meals, making your diet more enjoyable. And when you genuinely enjoy your meals, you're exponentially more likely to actually stick to them in the long term, which, as we've established, is the ultimate key to sustainable fat loss. Aside from the benefits of consuming enough healthy sources of fat for satiety and enjoyment if you're not getting enough fat in your diet, you'll actually negatively affect many vital hormones that are crucial for fat loss and overall health. Adequate fat intake is essential for the production of hormones like testosterone and estrogen, which play key roles in metabolism, muscle building, and body composition. So make sure that at least 20 to 35% of your daily calorie intake is coming from healthy sources of fat. Think about options like avocados, olive oil, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, and eggs. Incorporating these consistently will not only help you feel satisfied, but will also ensure your body is functioning optimally for fat burning. 6. Lift weights. The next absolutely crucial thing you'll want to do is lift weights. This is where many people make a big mistake when trying to lose their love handles. They focus excessively on endless crunches, side bends, and oblique building exercises, thinking they can spot reduce fat from their midsection. However, simply doing tons of abdominal work, and help you get rid of your love handles because it doesn't burn all that many calories. And it simply builds muscle underneath the fat, which won't be visible until the fat itself is gone. You can't directly burn fat from one area with targeted exercises. Instead, you want to focus on compound weight training exercises that engage multiple muscle groups. Build the most overall muscle, and therefore burn the most amount of calories. Think about powerhouses like deadlifts, squats, pull-ups, bench presses, rows, and overhead presses. These are all incredibly effective at doing just that. By performing these exercises with challenging heavy weight, you'll burn a significant amount of calories, not only during your workout, but also for hours, even days, afterwards. During the recovery process, as all those broken down muscle fibers will need to use additional calories to repair themselves. This is known as the afterburn effect, or EPOC. On top of that, and this is critical, you'll boost your overall metabolic rate at rest by building more muscle over time. Muscle is metabolically active tissue, meaning it burns more calories at rest than fat does. Many of you that feel stuck and can't seem to lose any more fat, even though your calories are already pretty low, would be much better off focusing on lifting heavy and building muscle. That will help you burn fat without having to drop your calories so incredibly low that your diet becomes unsustainable. It's a long-term investment in a faster metabolism and a more sculpted physique. 7. Incorporate interval training, another highly effective thing you can do to help burn fat faster, especially that stubborn love handle fat, is to strategically incorporate 15 minutes of high-intensity interval training directly after your weight training workouts. Here's why this sequence is so powerful. Weight training predominantly requires carbohydrates for energy. So by the end of your 45-minute or hour-long weight training session, your muscle glycogen, or carbohydrate stores, will be significantly depleted. By performing a 15-minute high-intensity interval training session directly after your weight training, your body will be forced to burn primarily fat to provide the energy needed for the workout. Since it's already burned through a good portion of its carbohydrate reserves during the strength training, this maximizes fat oxidation during your cardio. For your HIIT session, I recommend grouping together full-body exercises that work your whole body and get you breathing really heavy. Think about dynamic movements like burpees, squat jumps, medicine ball slams, mountain climbers, or even sprinting. Then you would do each exercise you choose as hard as you can for an intense burst, say 15 to 60 seconds. Then walk it off or rest for 15 to 60 seconds. Repeat this cycle over and over until your 15 minutes are up. This type of training is not only time efficient, but also creates significant afterburn effect that keeps your metabolism elevated for hours post-workout. Even though this can help you burn a lot of calories, there's no point in working harder than you have to. Start slow. Only add one HIIT session per week at a time to your routine. And try to save adding more of these sessions for when you start to plateau with your fat loss. This way, you always have a powerful tool in your back pocket to break through plateaus and continue burning fat without overtraining or burning out. 8. Prioritize sleep next, and this is often overlooked. You want to ensure that you're getting enough quality sleep. Sleep deprivation has a profoundly negative effect on your body's hormonal balance, specifically impacting your testosterone to cortisol ratio. When you're consistently not getting enough sleep, your cortisol levels tend to rise, while your testosterone levels can decline. This hormonal imbalance can highly contribute to the problem of excess fat being stored specifically around your love handles and belly area. It also makes you hungrier and more likely to crave unhealthy foods. One of the simplest, yet most effective ways to avoid many of these negative hormonal changes and create a more favorable environment for fat loss is by simply getting enough sleep. You want to do your best to get anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of quality, uninterrupted sleep per night to help your body burn fat efficiently. The evidence is clear. Studies have shown that people who sleep fewer than 5 hours per night tend to weigh more and have significantly more belly fat than people who consistently sleep for 6 to 7 hours per night. And there are many, many other studies that confirm that chronic sleep deprivation is absolutely terrible for fat loss. Make sleep a non-negotiable part of your fat loss strategy. 9. Reduce your alcohol consumption now, a tough one for many. You'll also want to reduce your alcohol consumption, especially if you drink a lot at once or you drink often. Here's why alcohol can be such a hindrance to love handle reduction. Firstly, fat is primarily processed by the same organ that processes alcohol, your liver. When you consume alcohol, your body prioritizes breaking down and clearing out that alcohol, effectively putting a pause on fat burning. Your liver literally shifts its focus to detoxifying your body from the alcohol. Secondly, alcohol is technically its own macronutrient, adding 7 calories for every gram of alcohol consumed. These are essentially empty calories with no nutritional value, yet they count towards your daily total. On top of that, many alcoholic drinks have added sugars and other calorie sources. For example, wine and beer are full of additional calories on top of the calories from the alcohol itself, and these are often the go-to choices for people who drink often. Even though there is some evidence to suggest that having 1 or 2 glasses of wine a day might help reduce the chances of developing cardiovascular issues for some people, having 1 or 2 glasses of wine every day will definitely not reduce your chances of developing love handles. In fact, it will likely work against you. So, if you do choose to drink, try to stick to hard, clear liquors that don't have additional flavors or added sugars. Mix them with 0-calorie beverages like soda water. And critically, if you cue and control the amount of food and the type of food that you eat when you do drink, because alcohol often lowers inhibitions and increases cravings, then you may be better off not drinking at all, or at least significantly limiting it. It's incredibly easy to consume 1,000 extra calories in one drunk binge eating session if you're not careful, which can easily undo days of hard work. Be honest with yourself about your habits. 10. Prioritize vegetables at every meal. Another. It's a very simple yet profoundly effective way to reduce your love handles is by consistently eating vegetables with every one of your meals and by making a conscious effort to prioritize the vegetables and the protein sources on your plate. This sounds basic, but its impact is huge. Vegetables are not only incredibly low in calories, but they also take up a lot of space in your stomach due to their high fiber and water content. This physical volume helps satisfy your hunger, keeps you full for longer, and naturally prevents you from overeating other, more calorie-dense foods. If you simply incorporate a generous serving of vegetables in every meal, and you always make sure to eat all the vegetables and protein on your plate first, you'll be way less likely to overeat the higher calorie components of your meal. Think of vegetables as your secret weapon for satiety. Provide essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support overall health and metabolism, all for very few calories. Filling up on these nutrient-dense powerhouses means you'll have less room for the foods that contribute to love handles. Make your plate a rainbow of greens, reds, and oranges, and watch how much easier it becomes to manage your overall calorie intake without feeling deprived. 11. Explore intermittent fasting finally. The last and one of my personal favorite ways to burn fat and tackle those love handles is with intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting isn't a diet in the traditional sense. It's an eating pattern that cycles between periods of eating and voluntary fasting. There are many types of fasting protocols that you could try, like eat, stop, eat the warrior method, the popular 16/8 method, the 5-2-2 diet, and OMAD, just to name a few. Depending on which one of these you choose, you could be fasting for either 16 hours, 20 hours, 23 hours, or even longer. The beauty of intermittent fasting for fat loss is straightforward. Just by not eating anything at all during your fasting window, you will most likely naturally reduce the total amount of calories that you take in on a daily basis. It acts as a built-in calorie control mechanism, without needing to meticulously count every single calorie throughout the entire day. You'll also still be able to have larger, more filling, and highly satiating meals during your eating window, since you'll be eating fewer total meals per day. This allows you to eat more during each of those meals, which can be psychologically very satisfying and help prevent feelings of deprivation. Fasting can also be used to help fit occasional cheat days or higher calorie meals into your plan without going overboard on the total amount of calories you eat throughout the week, as the fasting periods help offset the higher intake. Even though fasting may sound difficult and complicated to set up initially, I promise you it's not. It's simply a matter of shifting your eating schedule. If you're interested, I have a dedicated video specifically on how to set up your own intermittent fasting plan from scratch. Link it up somewhere on the screen right now, and it'll be in the description below. That video will help you create your own personalized intermittent fasting plan that'll help you burn away those stubborn love handles. It's totally free. Conclusion: your roadmap to a leaner physique. So there you have it. Those are the 11 simple, yet incredibly powerful ways that you can use to start reducing the size of your love handles right away. Remember, consistency is the key. You don't have to implement all of these perfectly overnight, but pick a few to start, commit to them, and gradually integrate more. By focusing on smart dietary choices, effective training, and crucial lifestyle habits, you'll stop fighting a losing battle with those stubborn fat deposits and start seeing real, lasting progress towards a leaner, more confident you. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you have, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and that you hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. This all really does help me out and allows me to continue creating valuable content for you.